on Prom FM 105.5. This program is relayed by Radio Gegema, that is in Nimba County, Radio Kwatika in Bon County, and of course, Radio Wolagisid in Lofa County. It is the nighttime heat on Prom FM 105.5. Sabo George is my name, and of course, I'm here along with my panelists. In the house first is the man George Kennedy, and I'm sure Moses is already on backstage. We'll bring Moses on, and I'm sure Edwin Formula is on his way. And today we'll have three major topics that we'll be dealing with. I'm sure since the draft national budget emerged, there has been continued debate about the budget. Some are saying that the budget is very ambitious and also fragile. But yesterday, the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Augusto Gafwan, provided more clarities. We got videos to that effect. And of course, we playing those videos and doing our own analysis of what the ministers spoke about. But before then, we'll be looking at taking a deep look into the 1.2 billion national budget. There's been some critical review of the budget. We'll be reading that document, and my panelists will be also sharing their thoughts on that critical review of the budget. And then number three discussion point is why was Fatima Bintou Salif's confirmation greeted with a lot of controversy? Why? I don't know why people were, talking about the confirmation of Fatima Bintou Salif as Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs. In fact, we understand that she was being bullied by another female. Who was the first? We want to know all of that. Whether it was Fatima who began bullying her friend, or the friend, was the one first bullying Fatima. We're going to look out of that tonight as our last discussion for the night. But let me welcome George Kennedy quickly. George, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Saba. Good evening. Good evening to the people of Liberia.
Yeah.
To our many listeners, please share the show. And I'm sure that Big Brother Sandy is already behind the scene. I want to say thank you to our technicians. They've been doing very well. Thank you.
Okay, so listeners, again, I'm sure you heard and you are quite aware that we are streaming live on Prime FM, Monrovia 105.5. Again, Prime FM, Monrovia 105.5. Also, we are streaming live on our YouTube channel. That's the Nighttime Heat YouTube channel. And also streaming live on our Facebook page. That's the Nighttime Heat Facebook page. So wherever you are, whether in Liberia or in the diaspora, wherever you are, and of course, you want to watch the show online, just tap Nighttime Heat on your Facebook page, and of course, you're going to watch the show online. And also, we just don't want you to watch the show. Kindly share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening this Friday night on the Nighttime Heat. Let me welcome Moses Sandy quickly. Moses, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Saba. It is a pleasure to be back. George, how are you today?
I'm fine.
It's good to connect with you guys and our people in Liberia. Let me say hi to all of you. It's always a pleasure coming here. Thank you for the opportunity, Saba.
Okay, Moses. Josh, let's begin with you. Apart from what we just talked about, what's on your mind? What's been trending today on your mind also?
Well, I think it was the biggest news today. I think it was the visitation of the president of Banga Bon County, where he met the chiefs, traditional people, governors, to discuss with them a lot of national issues, including the bill that just before the legislature regarding the abolition of some aspect of our traditional practices. So they try to explain to the traditional people what really they wanted, what really they're thinking about, so that the entirety will not be misconstrued. And Also, economic issues. The Minister of Finance spoke there today. A lot of stakeholders spoke there today. And on the side attraction there, we saw one of the new buses that probably I saw the students pushing the bus. I mean, we can see the motivation in the place. Saw thousands of people there. I mean, it was good.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what's been trending on your mind, apart from the three major discussions today.
Yeah.
Moses, let's hear from you. What's been trending?
Well, look, from my end, two things that have been trending. I was at work today, and then I saw this. I think a press release. I mean, not a press release, but I saw a post. A colleague that I went to school with, his deputy director of communication at the Ministry of Labor, and they're also a director of communication at the Labor Ministry. And then I asked myself, what is the essence of having two directors, a director and assistant director? And when I was practicing back home, we had public relation officers at most of these institutions of government, because there's nothing much happening at these ministries when you have a bloated workforce. You have a director, you pay the president. I don't know the standard, but I'm told the average director in Liberia makes a little over $1,000. So you have an assistant director, and then you're also going to have other people. So you have a bloated workforce, a lot of people working, and that basically go to work and do nothing. They just sit around, no evaluation. They don't have equipment. Take for example, the very legislature, when I covered that, there was one press bureau with a director and assistant director. But today you go to the legislature, you have a director of communication in the office of the speaker. You have a director of communication for the entire legislature. You have a deputy director as well. You go to the Senate wing, you have a director and assistant director. When we cover the legislature, those things did not exist. I think we just have too much bureaucracy. We have too much redundancy in government. Too many people doing almost the same thing. So I think we need to cut down as a country. We are a very poor country. I know we try to create jobs for our people, but we need to really cut down. Minimize the workforce. That's one thing that really stood out for me. And another thing, quickly, is something that I want to talk about. It has to do with what we call open-mindedness. Open-mindedness is when people are tolerant. Even if someone says something that they disagree with, they become very considerate. They respect the opinion of people, because everybody will always not be on the same spectrum. That's how civilized societies function. If we all start singing the same song, it makes it difficult. So if you're going to coexist with people, you have to be open-minded. You have to coexist with them and get to know them better, get to know their perspectives. I'm saying this to say that we need to adapt this on this program. To talk the nighttime heat. We have to be tolerant. I don't have to agree with Mr. Kennedy. He doesn't have to agree with me. But we have to be tolerant, respectful, mutual. Other than that, it defeats the purpose of the show. And George, I call your name not because I have something against you. I'm just using you as an example. Yeah, I'm just using you as an example. I'm just saying that we have to be tolerant, respect one another. That's how people coexist. Thank you.
Okay, Moses, thank you again. Listeners and viewers, kindly share the show. We are streaming live on Prime FM 105.5. We are also streaming live on our Facebook page. That's the Nighttime Heat Facebook page. And of course, we are also streaming live on our Nighttime Heat YouTube channel. Let me welcome Edwin Fambul. Edwin just walked in studio. Edwin, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Slava. And good evening to you. Good evening to Brother Kennedy and Brother Moses. I'm glad again to be here tonight.
Okay, that's good. Again, listeners, we are streaming live on Prawn FM 105.5, streaming live on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. This program is being relayed by Radio Gegema, that is in Nema County, Kwatika Nebong, and of course, our Radio Wologisi in Lofo County. This program comes on 3 times a week, Monday to Wednesdays and Fridays, 8 to 10:30. We're still trying to show some revenue so that we can be regular on the radio. That is, we can go weekly. That is every day, Mondays to Fridays. We're still trying to find the resources. It's not an easy thing. We are, personally handling the financial obligations and keeping this program on. So if you are there, maybe you want to chip in, we really appreciate so that you can do so. And then our people can be educated, informed, and entertained as well. Okay, gentlemen, I think what's on my mind, apart from the 3 discussions or the 3 topics, we've been seeing a video that's been trending with a police officer holding the belt of another police officer, and we'll try reading the caption. And there's been a couple of stories also online concerning that. That took place in Sierra Leone, where the our Inspector General, the IG, Gregory Coleman, was visiting. And according to the story, he was in a meeting with the Vice President of Sierra Leone, and one of the aide to the IG, Sam Collins, our own friend, was trying to photograph the Vice President of Sierra Leone, and then this police officer held him by his belt, and we've been seeing the video, and that has been sparking some debate, public debate. I think that didn't augur well for our image as a country, as a people. I don't know whether Sam Collins is the photographer of the Liberian National Police, whether he's the director of communication. But yes, I know it is a prerogative of the police IG to take whoever he wants to. But I think ourselves, we need to begin to organize ourselves properly. I think and I believe if the police IG had carried along a photographer who's assigned, and that man would have had a camera and not a telephone in his hand and trying to capture the vice president of another country. Things that we took for granted here in our country, others don't take it for granted. The police officer knows that his vice president was sitting there, and he didn't expect any other police officer with a uniform and holding a phone to go to capture on a camera the vice president. And the people respect protocol. And that should just, I think, teach us a lesson. What we need to learn first is to know that the people believe in protocol. The same thing, we need to learn from that. And then secondly, they are well organized. I'm sure if the police IG of Sierra Leone was coming to Liberia, he would have brought along a photographer, a man when they wearing his jacket, police photographer, and then like that he would have had an easy passage to capturing the vice president. And that was very shameful and disgraceful. I think next time let's try to learn and not taking anybody, just anybody, because if you have got some connection to the president, or the president is a journalist, or the president has the capacity to promote us, and then we just take the person on a trip. No, in fact, what I'm seeing nowadays, I don't know what's happening. When we were going through our rudiments, we were practicing journalists. When you take a journalist to maybe a function, maybe you took it on a trip, the responsibility of that journalist is to be there and file what's happening.
Yeah.
But that's not happening in a moment for now. People do travel, they carry talk show hosts. At the end of the day, the talk show host doesn't even report back. He only comes on the radio and explain, or sometimes he doesn't even explain. He doesn't tell the public what had happened. We need to begin to organize our thoughts, and that's one of the ways when I was serving as communication director at the Ministry of Health, I popularized the ministry. Because at the time, not many persons knew that the Ministry of Health had communication unit. But when I went there, and every trip that the minister made, especially local trip, visiting the counties, I can remember I went along with Dr. Keter, Francis Keter.
Yeah.
He went on a trip, on a tour, visiting the health, because he was then the chief medical officer. So that was his purview. Visiting all of the health. And from one point to another point, he held meeting with the health team in Montreal. In Grand Basel, when we arrived in Sano, he held a meeting. And as the meetings were ongoing, I was reporting that back. I would call the radio stations and just having the form of the chief medical officer. But that's not happening. I don't know what. And I began to see that during the last administration, and that had crept into this administration.
Facebook going live.
People just take anybody and just take the person to a trip, and at the end, the person doesn't report back. He doesn't call. He doesn't write a news story. Why did you carry them?
So, with all due respect to Mr. Sam Collins, he's one of us. He's a very good journalist. I thought that, I don't know his role at the police right now. Someone told me that he's in a surveillance unit. I don't know what that unit is, but actually, even if he was on the trip, his name should have been given to the Sierra Leone side, and probably they would have given him pass. And, most of the time when we travel, we have passes, and they gave us passes. But I saw that video. I felt bad, but I didn't really go through it good, so that's why I didn't speak to him. He went like this to take a photo, and he just grabbed him by his trouser. He was well dressed in his uniform, in his police uniform. That wasn't good. I don't know how they handle it. How the RG handle it.
I think the thing is, if the police RG or whoever traveling, take a camera, a photographer with you.
You can't use telephone.
You can't use telephone.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
We need to organize ourselves. And two, the second thing, we have to respect the people's protocol.
Yeah.
The vice president is sitting there. If a man is the photographer, he has his jacket, police photographer. It's clear. He has a camera.
Yeah.
Yes, he has his camera.
Yeah.
His official camera. He's not using phone. So like that, he can go anywhere. He can even stand, adjacent or opposite the vice president and take this picture. But to just allow another police officer, who knows, that this police officer wearing police uniform may be having some kind of phone that has explosives.
Yeah. And he's not wearing the police uniform of your country.
No, he's not wearing the police uniform
of another country.
We have we got some lessons to learn from there. But gentlemen, you want to chip in?
Edwin? So I've seen the video, and like you rightly said, Sam been in the police for some time. He served even one time as police spokesman. So like you rightly said, the Sierra Leoneans do not joke with security.
No.
They're very, very, very at light. Even when their president comes to Liberia, I remember during the Independence Day celebration, when the president came to Liberia, if you see the escort, in fact, he even moved with the military. He comes in with the army, and stuff. So it tells you that they don't joke with their security. So again, in Liberia, we play around with these things. Our leaders are sitting somewhere. You can go there and go take the person picture.
With the telephone.
If you know the person, you can even stand by them and take picture. For those guys who wear the uniforms to protect those people, their life is on the line.
They don't take that for joke.
They don't take that for joke. No. So, like you rightly said, It's a lesson learned, and we need to make sure we graduate from that. If the IG is going out, he wants to carry a photographer. That photographer should be identified. Wear a jacket to know, and he should carry the camera.
The camera, not
You
the
can
phone.
do a lot with these phones these days.
Yeah,
A
sure.
lot. You know, you can be videotaping the man. Maybe he's saying something that he doesn't want it to go out there. And people do all kind of things, doing TikTok video and all these things. And the people in there, like you're saying, they're serious-minded people.
They're very serious minded.
Yeah.
No, we are not saying Edwin is not saying we are not serious minded, but he's saying we need to step it on board.
Of course, of course.
Moses, you want to chip in and we can get to our meet discussions?
Yeah, quickly. I just want to chip in on that. You guys have said everything, and I agree with everything you said 100%. What I would like to piggyback on is that the communication team. You know, I've even spoken to some of the guys at the top level. The way sometimes they carry themselves, it just makes it so embarrassing. Take for example, President Joseph Yuma Baka will travel, and and the president of the Republic of Liberia, and somebody carries cell phone to interview the man. That man doesn't need cell phone to be interviewed. He needs an ENG, electronic gathering news equipment, where the microphone will be put to his mouth.
Yeah.
We need to treat our public official with that dignity. You're director of police. You're going abroad. You want coverage. You don't take a photographer. And you get somebody running behind you with cell phone. It is shameful. You know,
Okay.
I hope our people can get it together, man. Let's try to get it together. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. You listening to, but again, you know, we have to say these things. Not that
Yeah, it's
we are the
true. It's
game,
true. Yeah,
so
it's
we need
true.
to be properly organized. You
It's
know?
true. It's true.
Yeah, you can. I can be the IG. I'm traveling. I don't carry a photograph.
Let that camera and see. I mean, those modern cameras now do a lot of things. You can take the photo.
And the police
take
has a
it.
whole press and public affairs division.
Yeah, sure.
You know, you have a spokesperson or so. So like you know, you say if the person were even carrying a jacket that carry press, they know you can take photos
Yeah.
and do XYZ.
Yeah.
But you want to jump before everybody to take the phone in front of
Yeah.
the vice president. They would have never allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Not in Sierra Leone.
Okay, so gentlemen, let us try to get into our discussion quickly. Like I said, we'll be looking into a technical analysis done by a writer regarding the national budget, and then we'll also be looking at the press statement, the press conference held, the press statement yesterday by the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, addressing some of the issues. I think he talked about the budget overview. He talked about the debt service. He talked about briefing on MCC. He gave a briefing on MCC and also the budget top priorities. Okay, but let's try to look at this technical review done by a write-up, before we can go into what the minister said. The president began by saying the draft national budget for fiscal year 2026 proposes a historic US 1.2 billion envelope, marking a 37.5% increase over fiscal year 2025. The administration frames this expansion as a pivot toward infrastructure-led development, anchored on the arrest agenda for inclusive development. Okay. However, a rigorous technical analysis reveals that while the budget is ambitious, it looks structurally fragile. It seems to rely heavily on contingent, non-recurring revenues to fund long-term development, while recurrent expenditure remains bloated. The budget risks prioritizing political comfort. Listen to the guy. The budget risks prioritizing political comfort and administrative overhead over genuine human capital investment and social equity.
Let me come in the budget again tonight.
Let me read this again. The budget risks prioritizing political comfort and administrative overhead over genuine human capital investment and social equity. Key statistics. Total envelope, US 1.2 billion. Revenue structure, 94% domestic projected, 6% external and recurrent expenditure, US 929.6 million. 76% of total capital investment, PSRP, US 281.5 million, 23.3 of total. And key risk, 19% of the total budget, US 228 million, hinges on single one-time contingent source. The government aims for financial sovereignty, projecting a massive jump in domestic revenue. Core domestic revenue estimated at US 940 million. Achieving this requires an aggressive US 135 million increase over fiscal 2025 collections through tax administration improvements. Contingent revenue. The budget looks at US 200 million ArcelorMittal signature bonus as revenue. Critique. Normally, this will be a high-risk strategy. If the ArcelorMittal deal faces legislative delays or renegotiations, nearly 19% of budget evaporates. Gentlemen, let me stop here and hear from you. The critical analysis or analysts indicated, the technical analysts indicated that we included in the budget a 200 million bonus or signature fees. So if, let's assume, the whole ArcelorMittal thing continues to face difficulty, it means that what we inserted in that budget and for what we allocated, it may be a major problem. Do you agree? Let me hear from you, Edwin.
No. The reason why I don't agree, because if I've been seeing all of these different analyses from even Martin Colley, I've read some from Senator Amara Kone or so forth. Now, if there is a delay in the process, now our fiscal year runs from January to December. There has always been a room where there's a recast of the budget. So if there is a challenge between January and June, it means that the government will have to recast, meaning that they've already projected that they may not be able to get certain revenue. They have to adjust certain budget line so that they'll be able to fit in, other priorities that they have earlier anticipated that was going to be financed by the budget. So in itself, I don't care even if the Mittal deal delayed or so. Definitely, once there is a recast, there will be cushion. Now, I agree with him, and we've said this over and again about the recurrent expenditure aspect of our budget. Is higher than even the actual amounts that goes into actual development for the population itself. Now, if you look at most of these developing economies, I've looked at Ghana, I've looked at Nigeria, even Ivory Coast. It's the same across. Now, what they're doing to be able to carry on this massive development, they've having some discussion behind the scene with the IMF. Look, our domestic revenue or whatever money that we're raising in our country is basically used to be able to service government payrolls and take care of other things, which is recovering expenditure. We need a cushion so we can go out there to other market to borrow to be able to do developmental projects. As we speak, Ghana owes China. The Chinese hasn't been in the tune of $8 billion for the airport that was for the airport and another roads infrastructure that was built. Ivory Coast the same. Other countries, our debt portfolio is around $2 billion, and we've been trying to service it, but this our relying on this IMF thing. it is the one that's actually going to derail our development agenda, because no country within the sub-region has been able to say we'll raise money to be able to build major infrastructures in the country. I don't care. Even if you decide today that you want to cut down recurrent expenditure by 30%, it means that you have to hold back, you have to reduce salaries, you have to remove money. Like Brother Moses earlier said that, you know, there are too many directors in the organizations and stuff. But again, you have to look at it in a way, right? If you don't have one or two directors in these offices, what happens if one person is now on the job? It means that the job slows. What happens if one person gets sick? I can work from January to December. I have to take leave. I have to get off that office.
Okay, let me hold you there. You listen to the technical analyst, who indicated that some inception in the budget has to do with the 200 million in the signature fees. If at all, I mean, there could be a problem with the whole ArcelorMittal deal. It means that we may not actually, receive that amount, and it may affect our whole, development part of our development process. Do you agree with it?
That is why the person need to understand our budget is a projection.
Okay.
All the revenue the board talking about, it's not in their hands. They're projecting that they will get this, they will get that, they will raise this one from taxes, they will raise this one for international partners. So all of those revenues, everything at risk until they can be collected. So he should just speak about general. It happens everywhere in the world. All right, it's not sitting. It's not a revenue sitting. So if the budget team, the economic management team, the Ministry of Finance was not sure, had they not had prior discussions with ArcelorMittal and be very sure, they would not even go to project that. Okay, so and he was speaking about the issue of the many directors. I tend to differ with him a bit on the number of directors in one position.
Okay.
The actual explanation could be that I may accept is that, look, government is the highest employer. You met these people and attempt to put them down, you'll be creating poverty, you'll be creating security problem. So you can't send them in the street. So sometimes you have to maintain them until your private sector can become vibrant. That's but actually they say maybe when one person gets it, all directors step in. Every institution you see here, the director, they're there to supervise. You work in a system. Most of the honor men, they are as well qualified to perform this if that director is not there. And, so actually what the government is doing, Mr. Sandy, is it is risky to lay off people massively. It will create security problems because the private sector is still weak. So the government managing this wage bill. That's what's going on.
Okay, let me hold you there. Moses, you listen to what I read. What's your takeaway concerning the ArcelorMittal 200 million signature fee? Moses, are you on? You gone mute? Okay. It seems that Moses has gone mute. Okay, so let me continue. Let me continue with the reading quickly. The budget lacks a tax expenditure report. While the government plans to raise the goods and services tax (GST) from 12% to 13% and tax the digital economy, it does not disclose how much revenue is lost to tax waivers granted to concessionaires. Implication: the burden of revenue generation is shifting to consumers while the fiscal cost of corporate incentives remains hidden. Do you agree with that?
Well, it's difficult to say yes or no. But I would say basically is that difficult as the way he's trying to put it also. Like we keep saying, the budget is a projection. We don't have money sitting in the
let me read this again. Let me read this again so that you understand well. The budget lacks a tax expenditure report. While the government plans to raise the goods and services tax GST from 12% to 13% and tax the digital economy, it does not disclose how much revenue is lost to tax waivers granted to concessionaires.
So yes, so again, these you have a tax regime that actually gave cushion to most of these concessionaires. Basically, it's meant to be able to encourage them to be able to invest, to be able to bring in all of their equipment and so forth. I'm one person who actually I'm not actually in support of that 100% because I feel that these concessionaires are making a lot of gains. They're making a lot of money. We should be able to have a specific time frame. Now, if you have a concession in the country, we give you 2 to 3 years to bring in all of your major equipment, maybe on a tax holiday. After that, you start paying your taxes. Now, but to look at a company like ArcelorMittal that pays us $600,000 for, a whole year for whatever they bring into this country, I think that's not fair. Now, with the issue of GST, we said that it is actually part of the recommendation from the IMF. When we got the $26 million, all right, there were certain discussions around that whole IMF borrowing scheme that we have to improve on our GST, our value-added tax, and all the different parameters. So this is what actually I think the government is trying to follow by to be able to actually comply to that, because we have, I think, $100 and some more million borrowing cushion that we can have from the IMF just in case we run into difficulties with our reserve. So they're actually trying to say to the IMF that we are complying with these things. And when you speak to folks from within the Ministry of Finance, they're saying to you, oh yes, we have increased it, but it's not going to affect the ordinary people. But those are all just, political jargons also, because at the end of the day, even if it was 0.001% increase,
consumers will suffer.
Consumers will still feel.
Let me hear from you.
Yes, but you see, manufacturers normally they will hold taxes to pay, but not they the one that pays the consumers. Most of the taxes are passed on. But one of the taxes that I enjoy, they impose, even though we stay in more on corporate institutions, the 2% tax. I think it should be more than that. But I hope they got a mechanism in place where the corporate institution will not go high their taxes. I mean, their revenues on how to call it, salaries. So most of the time, if the government does that, then of course the revenue envelope increase. But I tend to agree with him on the other side where he said full disclosure of those taxes. If you levy 2% tax on ArcelorMittal, for example, how much $1 million? How much are we getting from them? If you levy 2% tax on BA Mountain, for example, corporate tax, how much are we getting? But it's also a bit difficult because it is based on the amount or the quantity of gold or diamond that will be extracted over the time. So they look at it as a value in, then they impose the tax, they apply the tax to it. So some of the critical things, they just lack certain files, explainable files to the ordinary people. That's why sometimes when some of them writing, I can look at them sometimes. Most of them can be very political. But if you go into details, you get to know that, look, this government is very ambitious. They want to succeed. There is no way that somebody will just throw figures. But in any case, the budget as a whole is a projection.
Okay, let me leave it there. Moses, are you on? Moses still muted?
Hey man,
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what's happening to his stuff. Okay, so let me continue. With current expenditure, the blood allocation US $929.6 million, 76.7 of the budget, 76.7% of the budget. Growth represents 17.9% increase over fiscal year 2025. Drivers, compensation of employees rose to US $329 million, Goods and services rose to US 161.5 million. Debt service, a massive US 3230 million. 90% of the budget is allocated to debt, while necessary to maintain credit worthiness. This severely crowds our fiscal space. The government failed to keep recurrent costs steady to free a space for investment. Instead, it expanded the government's size. Well, what is it?
Yeah, so more in that, if you see for compensation, right, probably going up for certain institutions or so, it means that they're either going to hire additional people or they want to maybe step up people's salary in certain range so that they be able to perform, right? Take for example the issue of these yellow machines that are going to come into the country. If you bring in 287 pieces of machines, you're going to be employing almost about 500 people at the Ministry of Public Works, because if you're going to distribute these machines to every machines, you will need at least 2 operators. And so that's going to be an added 500 or more people to the Ministry of Public Works payroll, because if those machines are assigned in the counties, somebody have to pay those employees. Also, you're going to also increase the operational cost of the Ministry of Public Works, because you have to provide fuel, lubricants, and even spare parts,
repairs,
for those machines. So, like you rightly said, the government is ambitious. They want to succeed. So, whatever little envelope that they have to move around, right? They will have to put those monies in there so that they can be able to, have that particular cushion. Because if you don't do it, again, it means that most of your program that you plan from January to December will be stalled. You could bring the 287 pieces of machine tomorrow morning. You don't have the people to operate them. Then what is the need? They will have to be packed. Then you say, okay, then we'll have to wait for next year, budget year, to be able to hire these people, because they by right, the government cannot go outside of the budget to spend, because the budget is a law. So once you make that particular budget for the fiscal year, whatever you're going to do within that particular fiscal year should be captured within the budget.
Okay.
So as he rightly said, now look at the education side. Government talking about building around 100 schools. Are the people already trained and sitting to go to those schools? You have to train new people. You have to pay them. All right. So those things were budgeted for. Ministry of Health,
Additional
hospitals being built. You have a lot of nurses and doctors sitting. You have to bring them back and put them on the payroll. So I think he's talking about around 29% of the entire money going to recurring in terms of salaries. Yes, the risk aspect would have been if these recurring costs or these salaries and stuff are going to go around 40 or more than 40%, then I would have said that the budget is actually at risk. But right now, the budget, where it is when it comes to these things, stay in the safe zone. We have now approached 30% here. Another thing I would like to say is, whenever you carry out, that's what the minister Yakwe was saying the other time. Whenever you carry out capital investment, there is always recurring costs to that capital investment. So as you increase capital investment, recurring costs will also increase. Simple economics. So some of these people
to build the road, people got to build the road.
We got to pay them. You got to fuel the machine. You got to repair the machine. You got to do all of this. You know, recurring costs.
Okay. All right, now let's continue, gentlemen. Let me read this last portion, and then we'll go to
so
yes, you are on now.
So I'm back. I had to do something urgently.
Oh, sorry, okay.
Yes, let's hear from you.
No, the only thing. Are you there?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, the only thing I would like to say about the budget is that the budget is over ambitious. This is what we call a broad living beyond your income. All the numbers we put in there, it is good that we want to grow as a country, But if you're going to struggle with what they call budget shortfall because you made a projection that you cannot meet, now you have to recast. I mean, it speaks to a lot. If you're going to have a minimum, I mean, if you're going to have a small budget that you can achieve what you have in the budget, I think it makes a lot of sense than having an over ambitious budget that you yourself you know it's going to be difficult to raise the money. That would be my contribution to that.
Okay, let me read this last portion of this analysis done by this individual. Quickly, let me read, and then we'll go to our second discussion. The budget claims alignment with the arrest agenda: agriculture, roads, rule of law, education, sanitation, tourism. But the members tell a mixed story where it aligns. The winners: infrastructure roads, the clear winner. The sector budget nearly double to US 133.2 million. Rule of law, security, and justice sector saw a 20% increase to US 151.8 million, reflecting a focus on internal stability. Sanitation, tourism, new specific allocations for clean cities, and the Tourism Authority signal policy shift. Though amounts remain small relative to administrative costs. Where it fails, let's listen to that. The losers: agriculture, the budget mixed. Despite being in a arrest, the agriculture budget, let me read. The agriculture budget decreased from US 16.7 million to US 13.6 million. This is only 1.1% of the budget, contradicting the narrative of an agriculture-led economy and failing food security goals. Number two, health and education. Education increased by 11%, but funds are heavily skewed toward payroll. US 45.6 million, rather than instructional materials or school improvements. Health. Security agencies, NSA, EPS, received more combined funding than the country's three major referral hospitals, prioritizing region security over human capital resilience. Okay, let me end here, gentlemen. You listen to the rhetoric talking about where we failed in other areas, but in terms of security, we step up the field. Let's hear from you.
Well,
Especially our arrest agenda, begin with the A.
well, let me say this. If you don't have security, you have no agriculture, you have no country. And when you see
is it a justification for the step up in the NSA and
no, but not basically the NSA, but the entire security portfolio.
Okay.
Right? We yet the other day when the police director said that he needed additional money to be able to train more men because of the demography of the country, the expansion or so, so that he can be able to have men in all of these different locations or so. We have a very huge coastline. And for those of us that have had the opportunity to travel across the length and breadth of Liberia, when you go to the southeast, these major coastal towns and stuff, you barely see security personnel. People can get on a boat to come from other countries and get into these places or so before even your police dispatched from the regional hub in Banga or in Monrovia. They could have done whatever they want to do and then get back on their boats.
So your justification
security itself, to me, that's okay. We could look at the other aspect of the NSA budget and have some discussions around it, because I still feel that, yes, maybe we need to dig deeper into that, because this has been the trend from 2006 till now. We always see a lot of money being pumped into the NSA. So there should be some kind of a deeper thought of that. What are we doing that? Why are we giving that money to the police? Why are we not giving it to other people? Now, agriculture. There have been a lot of different engagement with the agricultural sectors. Even these machines that are going to come into the country, they're not going to be basically just to make roads. They will be there to help county farms and other kinds of agricultural activity. So I don't think that putting $100 million in the Ministry of Agriculture is going to mean that the people at the Ministry of Agriculture are going to be making farms. There have been support given to CARI, where they can step out the research on the different kind of plants that we can grow in Liberia to eat rice, fish, and other stuff. So let's look at that and see how the private people, how government can assist the farmer to get into mechanized farming. What kind of services that can be given to them in terms of seed, in terms of tools, and so. I don't think by just putting
As
money
capacity
in,
building.
as capacity
Okay.
building, yeah.
Let's hear from you, George.
Thank you. I will start from where he ended. Where is the Chinese $100 million investment going? Which sector? Agriculture. There is another $40 million engagement in the agriculture sector from donors that are going strictly under the ministry. So the guys who crafted this.
So in
budget,
other words, you're saying that it was needless
yeah. So if
to have given more money to
agriculture is not there to make farm. That's the belief of plenty of people. They're not there to make farm. They are there to support farmers. When you get your farm, so now they give you some implements. So now they use CARI. They try to tell you the kind of crops that is supposed to plant this and that. They are technical ministry. It's not there for them to go make farm for the
The reason why there's this concern about agriculture is because giving our president training and background and orientation, all of that, is from the sector. So one had expected that the sector would have received more
I guess
support and budgetary support than maybe security.
I just announced $100 million in the sector. It's a private investment that government involved with. I announced another $14 million. Just check it out, $140 million. If you what the government gave is more than $150 million to that sector that I personally know about.
Okay.
Apart from that, there was investment. They got $16 million in the last budget when these investors have not come. The investment last year now, they're trying to harvest. You can see all over, you see rice machines all over in most of those countries, Nima, Lofa, Bomb, they're harvesting rice. Okay. So those things, sometimes when you see huge investment in a sector that have been backed up by private investment, sometimes you have to shape the government revenue to other weak areas. Government biggest investment in single sector, I think that it's in the road sector.
The road sector, yeah.
Public works. Okay. So you see, and energy, LEC, I think government giving more than $58 million.
$50 million, yeah.
Okay. So in their mind, they got other investors that come in the country on the energy sector.
Yeah.
But you need to have a buffer. If there's anything you have to make, if a PPP, you have to be prepared to make your contribution. So people who try to condemn this budget, look, from my own understanding, from what I see, apart from all other engagements, this budget is very, very realistic. From what I see,
and I think the reason why, gentlemen, the reason why the debate, continue to be heightened is because this is the first in our country's history to have such a budget, 1.2 billion. A lot, it's very unprecedented. So we've done with the our first discussion on the technical analysis by the analysts concerning the budget. But let's try. Yesterday, the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Augustine Pehi Gafwan, held a press takeout, where he tried to give more clarity on and explanations on some of the figures and some of the decisions taken in the draft of national budget. He spoke about couple of when he spoke about couple of issues relative to the budget. But let's try to pick up first the issue of debt service. We just spoke about that briefly, but let's hear what the minister had to say about servicing the debts that we owe. Let's try to play that video quickly.
The key allocations that people are not talking about in the budget is debt service. Debt service, we've allocated 230 million to debt service alone. It's growing from 155 million in this year's budget to 230 million. And let me say, because someone could think that, why are you spending all that amount of money on debt? If we owe as a country, we must pay. The law, the PFM law says, the first claim on revenue is debt service. So if you raise money according to the PFM law and you're about to allocate the money through the budget, you should take off what you need to pay your debt. That's what the law says. But let me say that the debt service obligation for next year is even higher than what we even allocated. Almost hovering around 300 million. So we are renegotiating with some folks and what have you. And one of the things we did was to renegotiate with the commercial banks. In this budget, you will see that we've allocated almost 90 million for the repayment of debt service obligation to the commercial banks. The government from the past currently have been taking money from commercial banks to what is called treasury bonds. Treasury bonds. Principals and interests have been falling due. And so we must pay. If we don't pay the money to the commercial banks, the banks will be short of money. And then those of you that run businesses, you go to the banks to credit, the banks may not have money, and we could be the cause of instability. And also, it's not a good thing for government to be the first defaulter or the defaulter in chief in this environment. It's not good. It's bad signal into the economy. So we also have put money in to pay central bank. The government owes the central bank. And of the obligation we owe the central bank includes the repayment obligation for $83 million loan that was taken in latter part of 2003 to purportedly service salaries for November and December 2023. This year we've been obligated to pay 16 million. Next year we are being obligated to pay another 16 million. In the debt service burden for next year, we have 14 million in the budget to pay towards the AfriEXM loan that was contracted by the past government for the road from here to RI. 14 million is in this budget towards payment of that loan. And I could go on, but one of the areas that you need to know, yes, we are attracting financing from partners, including the World Bank, the African Development Bank, but we have to pay back. Most of the financing we get from them, except you hear grant. You see, the USAID funding was actually grant. USAID, and if we succeed on the MCC, it will be grant. EU/the grant. Most of the World Bank funding is loan. Although the loan, African Development Bank too, most of it is loan. You got to know that. What it means is that government pays back. Although for the World Bank and even the African Development Bank, the repayment period is very long, sometimes 40 years, very low interest rate. So that's how they call it concessional loan. Very low interest rate long period of payment, but still you have to pay back. The government has been contracting, taking financing from World Bank here and there. So just for next year, in terms of repayment of World Bank debt service, $25 million in this budget. $25 million to the World Bank to pay back debt service. So that's one of the reasons why I usually tell people, don't say there's a donor project, because eventually we pay. It's our money. So African Development Bank will pay more than $5 million in debt service, and at some of the financing that was taken for the road from Banga to Menekoma, the debt service obligation has already started coming due.
Okay, so gentlemen, you listen to the minister. You talked about monies that owe the banks as well. You said if those monies are not paid, it could also it could also create some drawbacks for us. And also, but he started by saying that people are not flagging the issue of the debt that the government it's about to pay. Rather, bulk of what you're flagging is recurrent and all of that. Why do you think that isn't that necessary, for put a flag, or isn't that it's nominal for to many people?
I think because people actually don't, like he rightly said in the closing of his argument, that when people hear donor projects, they feel that free money, but that's not free money.
The government pays back.
The government pays back. And I'm highly aware of it, where I used to sit in LECA as a project director that dealt with most of these different donor projects. Now, in fact, it even reached to a point where if your government is not paying, they do not hold back on the disbursement of the funds, because you have to pay the interest at a certain point in time. I remember between 2022 and 2023, the World Bank stopped disbursement of all of their funds because we're not paying on the loan, right? So it's a major thing. And if you start to service these loans, what it does for you, it gives you the cushion to be able to go and borrow more. I can tell you, in the energy sector alone, we spend more than $1 billion out of donor money, but like we're going to pay those money back. Right now, as we speak, there's a project ongoing called the CLSGRE. It's been funded by the African Development Bank and the EU. They are loans. So all the power that going to Riverside, to Buchanan, to certain part of Nima County, that's money government going to pay back. That's not free money. Except like he said, if you say grant,
so those institutions are pre-financed.
They're pre-financed, and you have to pay, and then you have to pay a certain percentage every year. If you start to default on they start holding back. They will say, okay, because like I said earlier, your budget, what you generate in your country cannot be able to finance most of these developmental projects. So it means that you have to depend on borrowing on a long-term basis, because you have an economy that is not raising billions of dollars every year. So you have to borrow and then carry that loan all the way back to maybe 25, 30, 40 years. And then gradually you draw down it. But you have to be able to live up to your payment plans.
Okay.
Because if you don't do it, then it start holding back. So when you go back and say, we want to extend the line from Broad Street to Ashmore Street. So can we get some money? They will look at our books and say, look, but you have not even make payment. And that's one of the challenges we are having with the Chinese. Like he said, on this RIA corridor, we were not paying. So all of the other funding that we went for to the China Exim Bank, even for the airport, they were denied.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Moses, you can come in quickly.
Yeah, look, I just want to piggyback on what Famula said. The Minister of Finance is absolutely right. Debt servicing is very, very critical. If you are not making your payments, that impacts your credit rating. Let me give you a graphic example, like in the United States here. When it says someone has full credit, It means the president doesn't make payment on time. And when you go to get a loan, like that, or you've been denied, it's very hard. And even if you are not denied, you are given a loan, your interest rate will be extremely high. That is one of the challenges that we have back home. The IMF, the World Bank will give you loans. They say, oh, you can pay this 50 years. Your interest rate, hypothetically, is 3%. So you do the math. If you are just making the basic or the minimum, if you took the loan of $100,000 and you're just making the minimum payment, do you know how much they apply? They apply almost 98% of that money of your payment towards fees, and only 2% will go towards that $100 million. And now you do the math. How long is it going to take you to pay that? That's why the way forward for our country is to really learn to manage the little we generate and spend it wisely. I disagree with people who hold the view that, oh, well, if you want to build a bridge, go to World Bank and ask for money. You want to build a school, or they say we'll build 100 schools for you, go to IMS and ask for loan. If you can afford to build one school on an annual basis from the little money you generate, it is good. But when you obligate yourself to too many international organizations, you will just be working and paying. Like let me use myself as an example. I live in a house that costs more than $200,000, and so the house I live in is a 30 years mortgage. By the time I pay that house off, I would have paid over $500,000.
Wow.
Yes, that's how it goes.
How the economy works.
That's how the economy works. But most of our people do not understand this thing. When they hear, they say, oh, they think it's free money, it's free money. Even most African immigrants that come to the United States, when they take this credit card, they assume that it's free money. By the time they look, they are in financial troubles. You have
Okay,
to
let
learn
me hold it. Hey, Josh.
Debt servicing raises the credibility of an individual, an institution, even the government. So the minister was very right when he talks about.
But the thing is, not that many people see it as not many people flagging it.
Yes,
But I'm
because
talking about
because
the government's effort to service the debt.
yes, because they feel that projects that were done here, a government project, that government money they were grant.
So donor money.
Donor money. Donor just can't give it to us. No. That word donor, that all the donors can get free. Most of them, they are paid for. So those are some of the things that, if you look at the amount of money that we're going to spend next year for debt servicing, as you said, more than $300 million. What if we're not owing and we take that $300 million and add it to our infrastructure fund? Would have been more than $500 million. If you want to build on the road, that's 500 miles of road. So it tells you almost from Buchanan to go all the way to Harper. So you see, some of these things, it's good to settle, because as a country, even the great United States owes, a lot of other countries owe.
In trillions.
As a country, you have to service your debt in order for you to be, credible, to be, your credit rating goes up, so that you'll be able to always go back and service and then rebuild and build your country. I agree with Moses. I agree with Mr. Famulem. The Bretton Woods system, this IMF World Bank thing, I always told people, let us look elsewhere. Most of the countries, I'm not saying it's just a suggestion, most of the countries went to the Eastern Bloc. They got money with less interest too, but the pressure a little bit less, where you can turn around your country's entire infrastructure. Have we just, if we decide we say one hydroelectric power, being one that can supply the whole region, Once you switch that energy on and start supplying, the next day you start paying some of the money back. Our airport, we need to rebuild our airport. We need to build our airport to international standard. Our ports, our seaports. Once we handle these basic infrastructures, we see money will be rolling. We see that the money, our budget may go to $5 to $8 billion. That we look at 1.2 billion to be something very heavy. We'll be talking about sometimes let us slow down on our extractive industries, Let us leave the gold, the diamond, the iron ore. Nobody should mind it. Let it be so. Let's look at money for our airport, from the seaport, from agriculture. There's a tool. There's a let's run our country for the next 20, 30 years. Without going for gold and diamond.
Okay.
You can do that.
Okay.
And just to add to that, right? If you look in the budget, there was a $50 billion allocated to LEC. But bulk of that money is going towards investing into smart metering system, because the government believed that over time, this whole energy leakage in the system will power Teva. So it's a bigger problem. Now, so if you're able to actually digitize the system where you have a smart metering platform, it means that every household even paying a little $5 or $10 for electricity.
And you'll be reducing power.
You'll be reducing power theft,
yeah.
and then you'll be able to grow the budget of LEC. Now, all of these state-owned enterprises, they were created as a business entity to support government's developmental need.
Sure.
Now, but over time, right after the war, President Salif came up with this whole idea that these entities should not be contributing to the national budget because they needed to grow.
Resuscitate themselves.
Resuscitate themselves. Yeah. So if we reach to a point where we realize that these entities are now at a profit level where they are making profit, by the end of the year, they're supposed to declare dividend and then give the portion of their profit to the government of Liberia, because those entities belong to the Liberian people.
Yeah. Sure.
So these are some of the things that actually I see that is good in this budget that actually will help us to be able to start pushing gradually.
So in essence, is that debt servicing is very
important.
Important.
It's very important
because that allows you opportunity to go back and
there was a point we went to the China Exim Bank and I would tell you, I think there was some project we wanted to do or so, some kind of a bridge project or so. So they wanted to take the money from the China Exim Bank. The very first thing the people at the bank raised was that we have not been paying on the money we took from the airport for 6 years.
Wow.
So that created, some kind of stuff.
It's coming block.
So in fact, it had to take the intervention of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Chinese ambassador to get the Chinese Exim Bank group to come to Liberia to meet with the Ministry of Finance and start the discussion as to how we can start paying, because that was a loan that we took.
Yeah.
And then we start paying on it for 6 years. We're not paying on our loan.
Okay, gentlemen, let us listen to the minister.
And so,
1 minute. Yeah, Moses, yeah.
Yeah, my brother, just a second. Look, I just want to further underscore the importance of debt servicing. Sober, you will not do business with anybody. Nobody will give you a loan. No bank will do business with you when your credit rating is terrible. You don't pay debt, you are considered a bad creditor. And that can hurt you as an individual. It can hurt you as a country. It makes life real miserable for you. Let me see.
Okay, thank you, Moses. Let's listen to the minister on some top priorities in the budget.
Basically was to allocate, especially the metal one-time injection to projects. In budgeting, you do not budget one-time injection to things that you expect to recur. So we are putting the money principally in projects. And of that amount of money, we're putting 100 million in what we consider our top two priorities. Everything, if the arrest agenda talks about priority, the arrest. But road connectivity and energy access have been considered the top two constraints to growth: lack of adequate rural connectivity and access to power, limited access to power. And also, the third one is access to finance. So if you want to grow the economy, if you want to deal with jobs, you have to deal with the structural issues that are impeding the achievement of those outcomes. And so that's why we are intentional. We are putting more money in roads, because money in roads have a multiplier effect, knock-on effect on all the other sectors. Good roads affect the health sector because people can move quick, easily, and get health services. Good roads affect positively the education sector. Students can move easily, and go and get educated. Agriculture. Our country, we have areas of productivity that sometimes don't connect with areas of demand because of bad roads. The goods or the products of farmers sometimes get rotting on the road. So if we have good roads, we affect agriculture positively. So I could go on and on and on. So road, that's why we often repeat what the Chinese say, that the road to development begins with the development of roads. And that's why President Bouazizi, once upon a time, when he was asked about the top 3 priorities, he said priority number 1, roads; priority number 2, roads; priority number 3, roads. So we took 100 million, we put additional 50 million in roads, the additional 50 million in energy of the 200 million. The 50 million additional in roads adds up to another, I think, 58 million in the budget for roads. We're also attracting a lot of partner support to other streams going to the road sector. We are very intentional about crowding in resources and moving quicker with our road agenda and the energy agenda. You saw what happened during the past dry season. It was good, but we need to sustain it and expand it. We have acceded to the Energy Compact initiative funded by the World Bank and the African Development Bank. President Bouazizi led the team that visited Tanzania at the Africa Energy Summit, and we signed what is called the Liberia Energy Compact. The Energy Compact really says that the intention of this government is to increase energy access. In January, it was around 33%, to nothing less than 75% in 5 years. We're well on course. I'm told now the new numbers should be almost around 40. We're moving. And so LDC, the utility, is doing well. We here at the Ministry of Finance, we have backstoppers. We intend to support a project for smart metering that will reduce losses. I'm told that out of every potential data LDC could generate, they are losing significantly. Almost like they're only generating about 53 cents of a dollar. And the smart meter project will make sure that I think they will generate 95 cents of the dollar. And that reduction will increase access, profitability, and that more access will reduce costs, and then businesses can get assured of more reliable power.
Okay.
There are other places who put the allocation. They want.
Okay, gentlemen, let's begin with you, Mr. Kennedy, on this one.
I mean, he just spoke my mind. I wonder why I didn't listen to this. Just be almost like speaking. If you are in a position, you know what to do. The minister's performance is not strange to me. I always say that He's an expert in the area. Maybe when you send him to the military, he will not perform.
Yeah, sure.
Because he's not a soldier man, but on the economic front,
You're saying to JFK,
he will not perform. He's not a medical doctor,
Yeah.
So, but he's an economist, he's an accountant, and he knows definitely what to do. And the things he spoke about really that touched me, apart from the roads, which is very important, the smart metering.
Okay.
Power theft is causing losses, a lot of losses to LEC. I think my only advice with LEC is you get that meter, don't sell it. Don't need to sell it. As we buy the tokens, we generate the money, right?
Yeah.
So no need to sell. Install the meters free. Just install it free. Install them free for the people. You will get it through the cost of buying the tokens. So sometimes people, I ain't got money to buy meter, so they go bypass, right? So there should be no excuse. So same thing going easy, man.
But basically, I think the management will look at it from that standpoint, because it's been funded by the government. So if it's going to be funded by the government, there should be some kind of cushion to make sure that almost everybody have access to it. And like you rightly said, if everybody paying their little $1, $2, it's going to help to drop the tariff, because now you have everybody paying, contributing to that part. It's also going to help to sustain LEC. Now, if all of these different projects that have been done by the donors and the government have to pay, and LEC has become profitable, like how the current managing director have said that in the next 2 or 3 years, he's going to transition LEC from being a negative bank balance to a positive bank balance, which of course I think he's on course, in doing that with all of the different interventions and stuff that he's doing. Now, LEC can be able to give money even to the government to be able to pay on its debt that was incurred based on these different donor projects. The other thing he talks about road, and don't get it wrong, energy, it is a catalyst for growth for every economy in the world. Yeah. There's no country in the world that have ever developed in the access of affordable energy. You can manage with water. You can dig a borehole in your yard and supply water in your tank. You can get your purifier. You can transport water in the truck into your tank and supply a house. But you cannot go by electricity. Manufacturing industries will not come to your country if there's no affordable electricity. Okay, even the concessionaires, some of the things that they're pushing out there, we have to provide electricity for ourselves. It's difficult for us. It's costing us a lot. So if you're able to push electricity to all of these mines, the negotiation now changes around. That, look, we're giving you power, we're giving you SYZ, you have to give us the fair share of our revenue.
Moses, let's hear from you. What's your takeaway?
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, no society thrives where you have problem with affordable electricity. No society, nobody would do business. If I am spending, say, hypothetically, $1,000 to run a generator, why am I coming to your country to run a serious business? That's too costly. So I agree with the minister. We need to make progress on that. My suggestion in that area would be that maybe in the future, Liberia need to begin to talk about making opening the business for private investors, people who want to come and be distributors, not only distributor, even generating their own energy and doing business. Like in the United States, most of us who are receiving services, those services are all private owned. Okay. If you don't pay, they turn you off. Okay. Yeah, if you don't pay, they turn you off. So if we can make more improvement in that area, that would be great. And then again, lastly, road connectivity. I agree with the minister 100%. I agree with Mr. Famula. I agree with George that we need road connectivity.
So that seems to be a one-sided program. My panelists just promoting the government through the Ministry of Finance. What's happening? What's going on, gentlemen?
Because the ministry is doing well.
The minister knows exactly what he's
doing. If they go wrong, we're going to bash at them.
But just to let Brother Moses know, since the 2015 energy law, the sector has been opened. So right now, as we speak, you have private individuals that are even running the grid in Nimba. There's a guy there called JEP, Jungle Energy Power. And then in the southeast, Flotuma. Then in the southeast, you have a group there called Lip Energy. Yeah, they are there. You know, and if you have interest, you have money, you can come, you can apply to the LERC. They will give you your license, and then they will give you, you know, somebody's here to be able to manage.
Okay, gentlemen. So finally,
thank you for the information.
Okay, so gentlemen, you know, I'm shocked that all my panelists are all promoting. You see,
today is Friday.
Sometimes you see government like that can happen. You know, when you're doing the appropriate thing, the nighttime heat crew will promote you. But again, government, when you sleep, will also talk about, you know, will also bash you. And you know, because the reason I'm saying this, I can remember I was called one time by someone, and the person said, "Oh, one of the ministers lay your complaint and say, oh, you were talking about, you know, negative about the government." And I say, "Hey, man, you know, people should learn to have thick skin. Sometimes, you know, yeah, we are tonight. All my panelists, I'm shocked that Moses was very critical. Moses is promoting the
hard news editor.
You know, so let me say this quickly. Akim told you that we have to be open-minded.
Yeah, sure.
You know, it doesn't always have to be the way we see it. You know, if it is right, it is right. If it is wrong, it is wrong. We should learn to accept that. The government is making progress. You know,
yeah, sure. We have to lift the progress, especially the progress through the Ministry of Finance. We have to lift the progress. Okay, now, gentlemen, you know, over the past days, there has been this whole rigmarole and debate, you know, over the confirmation proceedings of a deputy minister at the Ministry of Internal Affairs. In fact, she used to be one of the panelists here on the nighttime heat when we started initially. And then later on, she crossed over to Class Reloaded, but she began first on Spoon Talk, and then, you know, crossed over to nighttime heat, and then finally at the she's at Class Reloaded. She went for confirmation hearing, and since then, you know, there has been lots of noise, debate, and so we're trying to figure out tonight. And the question is, why was Fatima Bintu Salih's confirmation greeted with all of those controversies? Yes, we can remember when she went for the previous confirmation, she misspoke, and then unfortunately, it went viral. And then later on, she came back and apologized. But then before she came back to apologize to the public and to the Senate, there was this, you know, individual also on the stand, reportedly, let's put it that way, reportedly, who has been, you know, bullying her, you know, for her, you know, poor performance at the Senate. And so she kept her anger and kept, you know, her reaction until she felt she was confirmed. And after she was confirmed, she talked to the social media. Let's try to play that video first. I just thought to lay the basis, and we'll play the video. Later on, we'll read her apology letter, and they'll get to know the beginning of it. Let's play the video.
And we all the time there, Joseph Baka welcome back, come back here, Asia.
He's got the video, I think that end the video. But anyway, yeah, somebody happened. Those are some of the invectives people said that she used as a government actor, and then she came back to the public and did this apology. Let's try to read the apology. My dear friends and Facebook family, I've received messages of concern and disappointment from many of you after you viewed the video currently circulating on social media following my confirmation by the Liberian Senate. I must admit that even before you reached out, it didn't take very long for me to acknowledge that my actions in the video reflected poor decision making at the time. I take full responsibility for my expressions in the moment. They reflected a mix of emotions, ranging from joy at the good news and relief that the wait was over, and finally anger at some of the stressful interactions that had come along with this process. I truly acknowledge that those remarks should not and do not reflect my core values, the standards of our president, or my respect for women in various capacities. Regardless of any disagreement or tension, I know that it is wrong of me for my language or actions to demean another person, and for this I am sorry. I offer my sincere and unconditional apology to anyone I offended by my words or actions. I regret any discomfort or harm caused, and I remain committed to professionalism, mutual respect, and constructive engagement in all future public and private interactions. In my role as public servant, my focus will remain on serving the Liberian people, strengthening our governance processes, and ensuring that our public discourse reflects the principles of respect and collaboration that are essential to national progress. Sincerely yours, Fatima Bintu Salif. So, gentlemen, and let me begin with you first, George, on this one. Why do you think Fatima's confirmation was greeted largely with a lot of controversy? Why? Leading to an apology.
I would first say inexperience in terms of public service, her exuberance after her nomination, and also she was bullied after her poor performance during her confirmation. And what really made it bad was she was bullied by females. Okay. So females from one of the opposition political parties. You know, so she didn't hold back her anger. She came back and even performed poorly before she could write a letter of apologies. I thought that she shouldn't have done that video. It was not necessary. I thought that, in fact, I felt that she had understood the Liberian terrain, having been on Spoon all the time, following other officials here, how they were attacked, and she spoke about them. She came here on the show, and now she's on class. She can see how people, when they have problem with any of the public officials, the way they can address them. So she should have had that experience, but she lost it. She went and poorly behaved. But I'm happy that she publicly apologized. I hope that she will govern herself and act accordingly, because
this is her second apology.
Yes, because that's just where I was going. That's her second apology. The next one you blunder on the job, they're going to fire you. You may not stay. Even right now.
Do you think she was wrong for the way she reacted? Because when she poorly performed at the Senate, she was being bullied by an individual. And she thought that there was no need to react at the time until she had gone through the second confirmation, and so she thought that there's a need now to release or unleash my reaction.
She was wrong. What all she was doing, she was being bullied for, was her confirmation. She got it. Why didn't she just forget about everything and go do her job? Why she had to go after those who bully her?
Okay,
she was wrong.
Let me hear from you.
People react differently based on the circumstances of and stuff. But this is actually becoming a norm in our society where people bully each other, and I feel that it's actually bad. irrespective of who is being attacked or who has been bullied. Nobody should be bullied because, you know, this whole feminist thing that people have fought for many years, including my late mother, my sister, everybody, to see women united. Look, the lady who she was even referring to, you are a counselor at law. That's your friend woman who has gone before a group of senators for the very first time. You know, so even if you feel that she was falling short of some of these issues, your duty was to reach out to her. Look, ma'am, can you compose yourself? You know, because for lawyers, these are things that engage. You go to court, you argue with each other, so it builds your confidence. And we learned that even from the classroom, that the legal field is a field that people have arrogance, and you have to be able to compose yourself. If not, people will take advantage of you. So I feel the way in which the person who even she was responding to behaved to her was equally wrong.
Yeah.
To bully, your fellow female who actually is going through that process, rather than you giving her a helping hand. Now, her reaction to as well was wrong, because being put on that pedestal to be a government official, you have to have temperament. You have to be able to govern, know how to handle things, because if you don't have the temperament, you will make a lot of wrong decisions.
But let's agree. I think it's often said that to every reaction, there's
an opposite reaction.
The Newton law of motion, the fair law of motion, does not apply to every situation. Okay, so this is a political situation. It does not apply.
But why does it not apply? Because when I'm coming, the thing is, this is an individual who went through a confirmation proceedings with that exuberance and anxiety. Unfortunately, they didn't perform. So the first thing, it had a reflection
psychological
effect on mind.
Yeah.
Now, while going through that, a female or some individual start to bully her.
Yeah.
So she said, "Well, I'll wait. I will not react until when my whole process is over." So what makes it wrong when she was not the first to bully
that person who bullied her? It's not public property. She who was bullied is a public property. So she should have understood that where she was at the time, where she is right now, the public is looking at her than that individual outside there. So it's not every dite that will throw at her that you should throw similar dite back to people. Sometimes they say silence is a virtue. Sometimes you just remain focused and go. But I know she won't do it again.
There was this kind of an incident with our former president. In a game of sport, right? When President Weah was actually actively playing football, many times he was being bullied. He get on the field, people would throw things at him, or so they would spit at him, trying to bully him because of his skin color. And there was this time that he couldn't hold back. He had to respond. He headbutted, and people react in different ways based on situations. So for me, like we said, she may not have actually built that temperament to say, look, you know what? I'm not at a different level. Let me let this go. She thought that like you rightly say, and they are women. The way how we men react, women will not do that. She said to herself, I will hold this in until I can go through this process. Then I will get ready now to deal with this process.
Okay, Moses, let's hear from you.
Moses would disagree.
Look, look, guys. Let me come from a clinical perspective. In mental health, when we talk about bullying, we're talking about a willful act done with the sole purpose of hurting somebody psychologically. So, coming from that definition, the replay of Fatima's error in the media by the counselor, the female counselor, it wasn't a bully. It wasn't intended to hurt her. What it was to display her inadequacy. The woman simply put out the information that, hey, you claim to be this, but this is what you did. That's not bullying. It was not a fabrication. This woman went to the Senate, she lied, she misrepresented the truth, and the information was replayed continuously to remind her of the crime she committed. It is an open secret. It is brazen. Everyone knows. Fatima went to the Senate, she lied about her academic credential. If I were the president of the Republic of Nigeria, go ahead.
What it would have caused the other female to have empathized with her colleague female who had gone through a confirmation proceeding that had a psychological reaction to that female. What would have caused that female then to criticize or bully
to use her condition, her situation, to mock her.
To mock her. What would have caused that?
Okay, so when you empathize, it's something that you do willingly. It comes from within. You said, look, I'm going to put myself in her shoe. It could have been me.
That's why I'm asking the question. Why would have caused that female to have done that?
So, it could have been me. But then let's also look at the character involved. The character involved is a controversial character. Do you remember when Daniel Sano when the Minister of Information asked Alexander Cummings what did he drink? And what did he smoke? What did the woman say? It was what? Marijuana. And this counselor comes from what? The ANC.
Also,
So So you have to know. You have to look at the two characters. Who do they represent? Okay. So now, what I wanted to say quickly is this: if I were the president of the Republic of Liberia, two things I would have done.
Mm-hmm.
I would have withdrawn that nomination.
That's why you're not the president.
Let me speak. Mr. Famule, let's do it. I would have withdrawn that nomination. If the Senate or my advisor say, Mr. President, the lady has already been confirmed, what I would have done next was what? Dismiss her immediately. Because what she did misrepresent what I stand for as a president. Mr. Bakaki, he said there will be no room. There will be no room for misconduct in the public sector. He told the people that honor his leadership, the rule of law will be upheld to the letter. Now you have somebody who committed a crime. Mr. Famula can agree. Perjury is a crime. This woman, a confirmation, has put a dent in the character, in the image of this administration. Based on all of these things, I would have dismissed this woman immediately. Let me stop there.
Edwin, do you agree with it?
Well, I don't agree with him from the inceptions of the conversation.
What is the difference? Okay, I know you.
To dismiss it,
you wouldn't agree with him, but I just want to stretch the discussions more. What is the difference between what she did and Zolizo under the administration during the administration of George Weah?
So
is there any difference?
So the circumstances are not the same.
Huge difference,
right? I guess, yeah.
Well, what makes it huge now? You can talk together.
Okay.
It has a huge difference now. Irrespective of what we say.
Does it not border on perjury?
No.
Why?
This lady at one point she said she misspoke. Brother Moses. The lady said she misspoke. She went back to the legislature and corrected herself and apologized.
When you misspeak, what do you do?
It happens to all of us, right?
No. What is it? When you misspeak, what is it?
It depends on the circumstances and what you're saying. Now, this lady says she has this degree, and look, she could have been
Let's
saying.
take our dictionary to define misspeak. If you
You intended to have said something, but you said the wrong thing.
isn't that a lie?
No,
So
not necessarily a lie.
Yeah, hold it there. Moses can
Not necessarily a lie.
what information? The exact word, the direct quote from the lady, she said her statement was what? A misstatement.
That's the same thing.
Yeah, misstatement
Yeah,
is what?
wait, listen. The literal definition of misstatement is falsehood. It's
It
a
means you
lie.
lie?
Yes,
No.
put that, my man, put the dictionary. Let us not argue. Look at the synonym for misstatement. Misstatement is falsehood.
They almost say she
When you
misspoke.
lie, it's a mis. No, the lady said her statement was a misstatement. That's what she said. It's a lie.
Okay.
And she
I didn't
said
listen
that
to her.
on a what? And she said that on a oath.
I know she said she misspoke.
Yeah.
So
And she said that on an oath. Counselor, this
Then
woman
she came
said it
back.
on an
And then
oath.
she came back and
No,
apologized.
no, Counselor.
apologized
No, Counselor.
to the
We
people.
want you.
No,
We want you.
please,
We want you.
please.
Yeah, let's agree on this. A crime was committed, right? When you lie on an oath, is it not a crime?
Hey, some people go back and come here. I'm not a counselor.
so
please.
misstatement does not have one definition.
Okay, what's the definition you have?
It could also be an error. An error can lead to
It's a
misstatement.
misstatement.
Okay.
So I don't want to speak her mind. I don't want to use a definition that could be 100% negative against her. But as I said, she made a mistake. She went back.
And
She admitted her
apologized.
mistake. Apologized. She was forgiven.
So
She was forgiven by the Senate.
Let me ask.
And I want to come back to that Zolizo issue.
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Zolizo case was far different from Fatima. Far.
Okay.
No, when I become a deputy defense minister for Operation Post Congo protest, I can shoot them. Zolizo.
And you say that
That
before.
gun and you defense, they're sending you to defense.
You saying that before
Minister
the
of
defense
defense,
representative.
where you'll be responsible to get the ammunition.
Didn't he
Yeah.
deny the statement he made when he appeared before the Senate?
But the video was circulating from.
No, come here. Didn't he deny?
He denied, but the
He
video
denied.
was there showing.
Fine.
Fatima did not deny. She said, "I'm sorry, I misspoke." And the other one was more grievous. You're going to be giving army ammunition to army people. He say when people go protest, you shoot at them.
So now, this is Moses. Moses is saying,
Yeah.
had it been that he was the president or he was in that role,
Then,
he
well,
would have dismissed it.
Tell why you're not
See,
president.
Do you think what happened, what she did, doesn't warrant any dismissal?
It doesn't warrant any dismissal. Now,
Why does it warrant?
well, I don't think she's done anything wrong here because she's come back to apologize to even the victim that she actually spoke used those languages on. She's come back to apologize. So therefore, I think we should move forward. Now, the issue that Moses trying to push here and there or so, if the issue was with Fatima's credential, the Senate has the ability, they has the authority to dig out her credential and bring it to the fore.
Let me read what my producer just pulled out. A misstatement is an incorrect statement. Either an unintentional error.
That's where
An unintentional error or deliberate one.
Yes.
So it continues.
Yeah.
It can be an inaccurate fact,
Yeah.
a wrong amount, classification, presentation, or an incomplete disclosure in something like a financial report. In accounting, I
feel vindicated. Someone thank you so much for vindicating me.
No.
Please.
You're not it can be intentional or unintentional.
Wait, I'm still reading. General meaning.
Yeah.
General meaning.
Yeah.
Let me find the general meaning.
Video, don't joke.
I come in the statement.
Yeah.
General meaning.
Yeah.
An incorrect statement
Yes.
or the giving of false information.
Very
So
good.
what is that?
When they say,
When you give false
wait,
information, what
see,
you
still come by.
No, I come in.
I said,
No, I come in. When you give false information, what you doing?
but I only one side.
I lie.
It means to lie.
So,
Right. But
Of course. No, but there are
So
different meanings that particular definition
the
gives you.
truth is,
all right.
Some of the meanings they give you.
Yeah, right.
Some of the truth
Well, let me
is-
just announce the numbers quickly before you can
Yeah.
open it, before you can come in with your comments. Listeners, viewers who want to act, you want to participate, just call us on 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793, or better still 0886-050507, 0886-050507, or this alternative line 080776-540-987. 0776-540-987 is alternative line, or you can call these other lines 0778-460-793 or 0886-050507. 0886-050507. Yeah, you were coming.
so the only place I would disagree with Mr. Famule Small is that was perjury.
Okay.
The president had the right, if he wanted to, to withdraw her nomination, or if she's confirmed. Once the president does not commission you, even if you are confirmed, right? You can go to the position, or he will just refuse to commission her. But that was perjury. What she did was perjury. But the president, knowing that, she still wanted to get her working, that maybe that certain quality that he saw in her. So I can't sit there and say what she did not warrant her nomination being withdrawn or her being dismissed. No, I can't say so. But what she did, she showed remorse. She went back and apologized and corrected. That's the truth that people always want from people. Even Mr. Sandy, who is here in the United States, I don't care what you do. If you say the truth to the American man, it makes him, even the law enforcement makes him happier that no matter what, you will go serve your term. Sometimes they can even reduce a term based on the gravity of your case. Okay. But it's better to say the truth and to say I made a mistake. I'm sorry for that.
Okay. 0778-460-793. Again, 0778-460-793. Or better so 0886-050507. Again, 0886-050507. Or this alternative line 0776-540-987. 0776-540-987. That's the numbers to call, and you are live on the nighttime heat tonight. 0778-460-460-793. Let me take this call out quickly, then I'll come back to you. Hello?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm okay, sir. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, my name is Setia, and I'm speaking from Cinco.
Okay.
Cinco.
Those who say she was not wrong are not telling us the truth. No one will apologize if he did not do wrong.
Good.
I cannot just see Sobojo and say, Sobojo, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for what?
Mm-hmm.
Unless I realize that there is something that I have done that was inappropriate, maybe affecting somebody or affecting Sobojo, then I can say, I'm sorry.
Okay.
The fact that she has come to say sorry, the same person who appointed her is the one that sorry, the greater one goes to. He will either accept it or say no. That's
Okay.
the president. So once there's no noise about it, apparently he's holding it to say, well, let me see whether she will perform in a same manner in times to come. So the actual fact is that she went wrong.
Okay. All right.
She went wrong.
Many thanks. Let me take this other call on the line quickly. Good evening. Yes, sir. Let's hear from you. Okay, Pascal.
The reason why we follow the It caused a misleading statement. Let me tell you why this was. It leads to confusion, it leads to harm of individual or association. Having said that, why are we so cautionless in life? Why are people now real to their country? Do we want to say here that the woman made mistake? When this is not the first time. All of us didn't have issues. Even before the Senate when she lied on her own, she got confirmed and came back and talked to her Facebook post and made these reckless comments. Is President Baka taking action? Go back at the vision of information. Listen to Donald Trump. Listen to Joseph Garcia. Go to BRBC. Listen to Pavon. Why are we having? What are we defending? Are we defending as though there will be no tomorrow? Look, there's one thing I'm doing. I'm recording all of you. I'm taking the days of all of you. Talk show, host, journalists. We're just taking everybody's thing. There will be a time where you will come for the comments and statements you make.
When your government come to power,
I have business. I have my
you will not come there, sir.
I have my country.
07784607993. Again, 07784607993. Or better still, 0886050507, 0886050507, or 0776540-987. Again, 0776540-987. Let me take this line.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah.
call up. 1 minute, Moses. 1 minute. Please hold. Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Let's hear from you.
Thank you. And good evening to all of the journalists on the panel tonight. This is Koyu William covering a journalist conversation in this case. Well, I can appreciate all of you for the direct talking points on critical national issues. But I tend to disagree with you. So yes, Fatima was not booted. If I was when Fatima was not booted, she was corrected about her mistakes made, doing a confirmation. So let's be clear with this. Fatima was booted. They were not about her credentials. We saw the video that was passing around on social media here about the mistake Fatima made about the definitions of government. And that question was posed to her, defund government. The errors made into that was the video that people were circulating that right here were bullying her about the definition of government. It was not about credentials. So, most especially, we know that lady from the ANC, that woman has been very provocative to other the politicians from opposite view. She's insulted majority of other people who want to so even on the very platform that has time to go on. She was insulting other people, most especially male, but sometimes male will hold back, that she's a woman and they doesn't want to respond to her, if be looking at ladies do not have respect for women and whatever thing, because this now, I want to very female advocate will take it. They will not look at their point, but when you respond to them, then they take it as the women in general. But then she applied for female. But I won't know that when you respond to her, there will be no female advocate who can say, Fatima is winning because she was a female. So I think it was based upon that backdrop that Fatima has to respond like that to her. Maybe somebody will say because of the position she is. But hey, she has not been, put into office. She was confirmed by the Senate, but then she has to be commissioned by the president before starting work. So for me, at this year as the private citizen, yes, there's not somebody who says she's a public because she is not yet until she can be commissioned by the president to start defending work. But
Okay.
all in all, I think we'll have to guard our policy freedom of speech. We need to guard what is freedom of speech and the strategy short aspect from that. But these days, people do not know the definition between freedom of speech and other freedom of speech. So look at the other young men, why just insulted somebody for a year. Just as somebody in fact you either you come out of power and you want to insult one. If you did that thing that people take as freedom of speech, there's not freedom of speech. You can go point further that in national discussion. If you do not have the expect to contribute to the discussion, do not go there. Stay back. You're not put to go for
Okay. Okay.
to be insulting and people hear me, you are
Okay.
According to him, I think he's a teacher. There's a man that teaches full children. And they kind of think he's teaching full children. I think it's bad for us to start it. Thank you so much.
Many thanks, many thanks. Yeah, Moses, you can come in.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. I feel extremely vindicated, and thanks to our technician who did the research. Don't forget, I'm a former editor,
I know.
student of communication. So, George, I also want to tell you thank you. Look, Mr. Farmerland, this is what makes us nationalists. When something is wrong, you say it is wrong. You are a lawyer in the making, and you're telling us someone on an oath misrepresented the truth, and you say she committed no crime. Wow, that is unbelievable, But
So in the
what I would like to say, this is what we need to look at. That's what we call resume party. This woman submitted a resume. On that resume, she wrote that she had a degree in urban affairs, a degree which doesn't exist. That's a crime. That's a crime. It was deliberate, well thought, well considered. She didn't appear before the Senate before she started talking loosely. No. She read a speech. And on her resume, she also documented that. But
So have you seen her?
my brother family is saying, no, that's not true. She committed no crime. So, but we have to change for the better. That's the only way that road moves forward. Thank you.
So a crime is only committed if those who believe that she was speaking to them, what she said on her own was a perjury. They are the one who's supposed to determine whether it was a perjury or
I mean,
not.
what you thought?
Let me
Mr.
put it in here. No, but but when you spoke, I gave you time.
Oh yeah,
If
go ahead.
they didn't see it as a crime, and she came back and apologized and they move on, why are you trying to make it a crime?
Let me
Because even if
answer.
you go, it is a judge that determine whether a perjury has been committed by the witness. Then I hear myself that outside the court.
Yeah, Mr. Family, let me respond to your question. And that is very simplistic. Why you think they made this woman to apologize?
Did they?
Why did she go public to apologize if she had done nothing wrong? Why?
But you and I don't. You and I do not have the fact that she was told by the legislature to go and
how do you
apologize. We don't have the record. You have not seen this woman's CV. You say she part of CV. You have not seen her CV.
No, let me ask you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why would somebody apologize if they didn't commit a crime?
No.
There's a question. The person didn't commit any irregularity, not of that nature, but they just apologize.
No, but let's take it stage by stage, right? Let's take the apology from the one she put on the social media towards the way she spoke. It's a different ball game. Before the Liberian Senate,
in the Senate,
the apology in the Senate, she went there. She said she may have misspoke, and
she apologized.
Of course, but you have to say if what I've said
it means that she did something wrong.
No. It in no way says that the information she gave it was wrong. She said, I may have misspoken, and if you did not get me right and I said something, I'm sorry for that. And they lied. And that's why I said we live in a civilized world. We live in a digital age. We live in a digital age.
Normally I disagree with Mr. Sandy, but here when he spoke about resume party, I tend to agree with him on this because the position is
different with Edwin.
the position is Deputy Minister for Urban Affairs. Mm-hmm. So when you part the resume to say you did urban, I had to call it urban what in the US, with emphasis in urban administration. So you're trying to link your resume to the job.
Absolutely.
So, all right. So right there, I support her. I wanted her to confirm me. We sat there and said, Mr. Sandy, I argued about it. I said, look, let them forgive her, let them confirm her, this and that. But when it comes to the truth telling, sometimes when it comes to it, I mean, she already been confirmed.
Man, you are a lawyer. What
I'm not a lawyer, baby.
Lawyer in training. Back in the days.
No.
Somebody committed perjury and then you trying to circumvent it. What are you?
So, as a future lawyer, I'm made to defend my
A
client.
lawyer in training.
I'm coming now.
So if the lawyer lies.
I'm made to defend my client in the way that I'm able to convince the jurors that my client did not do wrong. Now, what I'm saying here is that
That's why you don't show yet.
no.
He just practicing.
What I'm saying to you now, the onus was on the legislators to make sure that agree. You say you did. You have a degree in urban affairs. Which university did you graduate from? You don't have to take plane to go to the United States. Can you give us your ID number? You give the ID number, you give the copy of your degree, because I don't think she just carry an empty resume. You have to attach document to it, and we do a follow-up.
They send it at a very
We do a follow-up.
They didn't want to embarrass
And then we know
that
that she actually lied. Then we have now a point to say she committed perjury. But all of us sitting here, we just presuming that she did resume or piling. We have no evidence.
But look,
In the law,
Mr.
there's evidence.
Mr.
What can you
Family,
say that Moses, you don't have the evidence that you went to school or you didn't go to do urban
Mr.
to
Yeah,
do
Mr.
urban
Farmer.
affairs?
Yeah, Mr. Family, Mr. Family.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's be human here. You're
We
talking
will
to
always be
you are talking to educated people, educated citizens, Republic of Liberia. Somebody went before the Senate and said, "Look, what I said was a misstatement."
It doesn't mean that she lied.
Wait, eh? Yeah, man.
It doesn't
How
mean that she lied.
many times we define misstatement for you? Let me just try to see.
No,
Error be intentional. So I choose to take the error.
If you choose to take the error, then what prompted the Senate to say, "Hey, madam, we agree that there was in error, but you know what? Go public and apologize." Don't you see that as a problem?
But do you have any record of that, of the senator go public and apologize? No, you
what
don't.
record you asking for? You went to a rigorous process. You went to a
She went She went to the Senate and said, "I apologize because I misspoke," and it was doing the same confirmation process. The confirmation process.
It was not. It was the second time. It was the second time.
No, but the second time it was still the continuation of the confirmation process.
No. Don't do that.
Committee name, chief. You are not in plenary. I'm saying this because I'm following.
No, Saba, y'all continue.
I think the man you should a very good policy journalist. George Kennedy. George, what's the case about Ouagadougou? Ouagadougou. Wasn't the same perjury?
He lied.
He lied as well. What's the same perjury?
But you let's stop equating these things.
No. If
they're not the same thing.
That's not what they say. Not the same thing. What they say not the same thing.
He was debarred. They say he lied on his citizenship, right?
So Fatima didn't lie.
Fatima, and like I said,
she misspoke.
Like I said, no. If Fatima provided a document, right? No. Let me be realistic.
You can't make it.
No. Let me be realistic here, right? If Fatima lied on her resume, like I said, if she lied on her resume, Brother Moses is read in the US, they could have sent it to him. Verify. The schools are there. All right? If Fatima wanted to actually say something and she said something else, it could have been considered as she misspoke. And then she came by and said, "Look, maybe you guys did not understand what I said." And You see, sometimes it's good that we follow these processes. Like yesterday, there was this hearing on the Oronto ordeal. I had make it my duty. I drove to the Capitol building, and I was sitting there, and there was this exchange between Senator McGill and the folks from NOCAL. At one point, he's saying that Oronto sold the blocks that they got from NOCAL for 200 million. The folks from NOCAL said no, 150 million. The folks from finance said different thing. So there was this back and forth. Conflicting accounts. So what Honorable Snow did, he said, look, we're not going to, have any back and forth with those things. No.
You're going off tangent.
No, that's the issue about people having different misinformation. So he said, look, you know what, Ministry of Finance, please publish all of the information on this deal. NOCAL, you bring your own. Like I said, if the woman provided a document and you believe that she lied on this document because she want to do resume padding to get fit in for the job, your duty was to send it forward to do further investigation. And first of all, there is no law that says that you have to have a degree in urban planning to be Deputy Minister for Urban Affairs.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, we have to go. Today's Friday, we have to go. Let's try to get practical comments. We discussed two major issues. Three, I will look deep into the 1.2 billion national budget, looking at it from a very technical and perspective. Also, we talked about the press takeout held yesterday by the Minister of Finance and Development Planning. We played some videos, and also the issue of Fatima. Let's begin with you, George Kennedy. Quickly, your parting comment.
I want to say thank you. It was a good show, and in my response to the critique of the budget, I think that person critique was speculative, mostly it lacked substance. Relative to the reality of the budget, I think they should still go back and try to. It's a political tool. The budget right now, as a public budget, is a political tool and also an economic tool. I want the person to shine their eyes on the economic side of the budget realistically to try to critique it. And to my sister, Fatima, I want to say congratulations on your confirmation. We just try to discuss what's the truth here, and we hope that you will perform well and try to serve as a public servant. Forget about all the people that may try to bully you or critique you. Do your job perfectly for the Liberian people. Thank you very much, Oba.
We're hoping to get Fatima on this program. I think maybe that day, Moses will recuse himself.
Let's see. Yes, but anyway, this weekend edition of the show was great. It's always a pleasure that we come here and exchange the ideas.
Yeah, sure.
Good for our country. To the issue, to the press statement from the minister, I think he actually outlaid all of the activities that this budget is going to impact. He talks about the issue of road. He talks about the issue of energy. He talks about, the focus on trying to actually service our debt, because if you service your debt, it gives you the cushion to be able to go out there and get more and get more resources to be able to invest into capital expenditure that actually benefit the people. To the issue of my sister Fatima, yes, we can say everything that we say here, but you are now a government official. You've been confirmed by the legislature. Go out there, do your best, control your temperaments. You are now an ambassador of the government. When you speak as a representative of the government. Even your comportment, you go out there, what you say on social media. Once you try to get outside of your ring, people will not try to tie you into the government. And just know that people will throw mud at you, because you are now in a terrain where there are oppositions who just waiting for you to slip off. And then, people like my brother Moses and stuff will start to run with it to be able to feel problem. Thank you.
Moses, let's hear from your parting comment.
Yeah, I want to say it was indeed a great show. And I don't want to come across as redundant, because you guys, George and Mr. Family already said it. I think the government, the commitment of the Ministry of Finance, debt servicing, road connectivity, improving our energy sector. I think the government is making progress in that direction, and we need to commend the ministry for the good job they are doing. Lastly, this is what I would like to say to my sister Fatima. Fatima is a clinical social worker like myself. Fatima knows that the current situation she's dealing with is a nightmare. There is a problem that will haunt her for years. This problem will haunt her family, will haunt her children, because whenever you go in communities, people will always say, oh, that's the lady that lied on her resume. When you go to public places, you hear people laughing, you will assume that they're laughing at her. That's the clinical component. People will ask their children, oh, is that your mom who went to Liberia and lied on her resume? That's a trauma. I'm speaking as a clinician. And Fatima knows exactly what I'm talking about. That's it. We cannot shield this. That's the truth of the matter. Thank you.
Moses, thank you, gentlemen. Let me thank all of you for being present the 3 days this week. Making sure that we inform and educate our people. Thank you, Moses, Edwin, and George, my namesake. Join us, listeners and viewers. Join us on Monday for another fascinating edition of the program, The Nighttime Heat. Thanks to the producers as well, and thanks to our colleagues relaying this program in rural Liberia. Until then, Sabo George is my name. Have a pleasant and restful night.